Welcome to another episode of the Caribbean Edge. I am so delightful to join you this evening, and we have a beautiful panel lined up for you. I will have my guests introduce themselves to you shortly, but we're here to talk about something very important, especially at Christmas time, the power of giving. It's powerful every single day of the year, but for a lot of us, we enjoy the holiday season and we enjoy giving back. So we're going to go through with our panel today, find out who they are, what they do, what they're up to, and how they're going to rock us off our feet. So welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have you. Some of them are joining us from Atlanta and from the beautiful island of Jamaica, where I think we're all from. So we'll start with Mr. Karl Chambers. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, well, good evening, Dawn, and to your wonderful audience, and thank you for the opportunity to be on Caribbean Edge. So, as you said, I'm Karl Chambers, originally hailing from Jamaica and from St. James. I came to Atlanta about 22 years ago and have lived here since. And I'm a co-founder and president of this organization called Integrity Children's Fund. And I think that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Absolutely. So we also have Dr. Verna Ramdeen joining us. Hi, Dr. Verna, welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for having us. Verna Ramdeen, I'm from a little country town, Malvern in St. Elizabeth. I went to Hampton, and I'm a teacher. I joined the Board of Integrity in 2009 when Carl's wife, a schoolmate of mine, a fellow Hamptonian, invited me to join.
And how has that been for you? Tell us about the rewards and what you do for Integrity Children's Fund.
Nothing has been as rewarding as being a board member of Integrity Children's Fund. When my job or my role on the board is to liaise and connect with the schools, just to get an idea of, what's going on, what their needs are, and to see how we can source different programs to help them.
Thank you. And tell us about your family.
Oh, my family, I have two grown children, Howard and Ramona. Ramona is here in Atlanta, but my son lives in Canada, and I just have one little grand. Well, he's not little anymore. He just turned 13, so he's now a teenager. And so that's my family.
Well, welcome.
But I have lots of nieces and nephews.
I'm certainly looking forward to be a grandma, but not yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Most moms are, but I can wait.
I'm still teaching, as I said. This is my last year though. So next year when I retire, I'll have more time to spend with doing the work of Integrity Children's Fund. So Robert and Arlene, and you'll see more of me after the school year.
Oh, beautiful. And certainly the Caribbean Edge will stay in touch with you all, because I've heard such amazing things that are happening, and we're going to get into those details as well. And we have Miss Arlene Bernard joining us from Jamaica. Hi, Arlene, welcome. I hear you have a very interesting story or journey to share with us. So tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Arlene Bernard. I'm from Jamaica. live in the community of Waza House. I am a principal of the Maranatha Basic School, and my church is the Maranatha Ministry International. Okay, I'm a mother of 4, and and a grandmother, I should say, and I love teaching very much. I love it because it is a part of me, and as a child, it was taken from me, and I decided that I wanted was to do something that I can contribute to my country, that persons in the inner city community like myself, where I grew up, they are not restricted, or they don't have the opportunity to an education. So I studied at the Michael University College, and in 2017, I became the principal of the Maranatha Basic School. I did my story in 2018, just after Teachers' Day. And then in 2019, I met with Mr. Karl Chambers, where I was invited to the evening of elegance with the Integrity Children's Fund. There was a guest speaker there, and it was a tremendous opportunity. And from that, I've been blessed. My school has been blessed from the Integrity Children's Fund.
So tell us about your journey, as far as I heard, a little birdie told me that you started out as the janitor.
Yes, I started the Maranatha Christian Church as a member, started going there, and there was a post. The basic school started at the time, and they wanted somebody to clean up the place, so I started out as a janitor. After starting out as a janitor, there was a chef. He got an opportunity to travel on a ship to cook. So then there was nobody to prepare the lunch for the children. And then I actually did both. I went to work early, get the place ready for the children, and then I sanitized myself and moved to the kitchen where I prepared the lunch. So they said, okay, we are going to find somebody to do the janitor work, and then Arlene can stay in the kitchen. After that, I spent about a year in the kitchen as a cook. A teacher, her son, went to Miami Classic, where he started running, and he got an opportunity to stay in the US. So that teacher, she actually went with her son because he was actually underage. He was about 12. So she went to the US with him, and then at that time, they needed a teacher. But look, in the kitchen cooking, and after that, I would leave and go in the classroom, sit with the children. I just do like little jingles and songs, and give them a little coloring, and sit and just play with them. After she left, the September 2000, they said that Mrs. McIntosh, she was the principal, said that they needed a teacher. So she went to Mrs. Sims, which is Mrs. Black now, and she said, you know what, don't go out and look at teacher. I think Arlene is doing a good job with the children. And I said to her, okay. So she said, do you want the post as a teacher? So I said to her, no, I don't really want to do this. And she said, you can do it. You can do it. So I started out September 2000 and as a teacher. And after that, it's just like teaching the children, I'm learning too. Doing the activities, I'm learning too. There was an opening in 2008 at the Michael University College. And Ms. McIntosh came to me the day and she said, Arlene, I want you to go to the Michael University College to get registered, to attend the college, to do your degree. I said to her, no, I cannot do that. I don't have the money, and I don't know how I'm gonna do because I didn't went to high school and all of that. I don't have what it takes to go to the college. She said to me, it was a Thursday. She said to me, you are to go Friday morning, which is tomorrow. I said, I don't have the money. She gave me $500 and she said, it's $500 for the registration. And she said to me, if you don't go, you don't have a job coming Monday morning. So I had no choice. I said, okay, I went home and I tell my family and they said, well, go and see what happened. When I went to Michael the Friday morning, it was actually the final day for registration. I walked in and I asked a young lady that was sitting at the front desk and I told her what I was here for. She said, actually, you know what? I don't have any forms for you to fill out. It's finished. And I said, Miss, I am going to be out of a job if I don't get registered. So I'm asking you, please, to find a form for me because I cannot afford to lose my job at this time. She said, okay, and we started walking around the campus. We walked to about 3 offices and she got one, and I said to her, some of the things on the form I don't understand. Could you assist me? So she said, okay, she'd asked me for subject. I said, I didn't have any, but we filled out the form and we submit. So I said, okay. The Monday morning I went back to work and I take my receipt and I take my little booklet that I got and I said to Miss Manager, well, I did went and I registered. So if I don't get through, it's not my fault. All right. Michael called me and they said that I was accepted to do pre-UA. The pre-UA is an equivalent course that you do to accumulate subjects to go over into the degree program. So I did 2 years in pre-UA. It was very struggling for me. When I went to that class, I met a lot of ladies. Most of them were coming from various high schools. So I stood up in the class and I said, even when we asked us to introduce ourselves, I said, my name is Arlene Leslie-Bernard and I am here. It's like my first time in high school and it's my first time in college. So I'm asking everyone to just bear with me. I don't want to waste the teacher's time and I don't want anybody to talk about the teacher so that I cannot learn something. So we talked and all of that and I went through that process. When I completed the 2 years and I heard that I passed all my courses, I cried. And it was just a joy for me. Also, one of my co-workers, Tamara Kircher, she was a big help to me. She was like my armor bearer because things that I didn't know and how to use the computer and all of that, she taught me that. I would go to her house and then she would show me what to do. One day I got an assignment and went to her house and she said to me, you're going to do this yourself this evening. I have mine to do and you're going to learn how to do this yourself. I said to her, but I don't know how to use a computer. She said, use one finger and touch. Spell what you're doing one until you get it. And I stayed there and I did my assignment, even though I got home 2 o'clock the next morning, but it was completed. So I matriculate over to the degree program and that's where everything started for me. And I completed in 2014. And after that, in 2017, Ms. McIntosh got her resignation letter and she resigned. And I became the principal of the Maranatha Basic School. It was very tedious for me because sometimes the challenges in class and to keep up with the others, I would come home and I would say, I'm not going back. And my daughter would say to me, Mommy, don't quit. You always said to us, try, please try. Please go back and try. So I didn't want to look like I'm failing in front of my children. So I have was to just go on. So that's my journey.
What an amazing journey. And if you're watching this show right now, you have to share it because that's an amazing testimony, which is why we're here tonight to talk about Integrity Children's Fund. There was so much in that. One, your daughter. Thank you, daughter, for being such a persistent child to your mother, because sometimes that means you raised a beautiful, amazing daughter that is using your own words for you. And, you know, the strength you had and the fact that someone believed in you to say, here's the $500, go do the test and don't come back. And you didn't give up as an individual either because someone believed in you, right? Yeah. And so you wanted your job still. And at the same time, you persevered, right? What an amazing story. Thank you so much. And we have Dr. Chris Parker joining us as well. Welcome. And I know I hear so many good and not so good stories about you. So I'm going to start with the jokes first because I heard you're going to keep us laughing all night long. But we're going to go over to Mr. Robert Dixon and tell us about yourself and your involvement, Robert.
Thank you very much, Dawn. I'm Robert Dixon. I am the principal of Operation Restoration Christian School, located in Trenchtown, the community of Trenchtown in Jamaica. Dr. Parker was one of our first board members, right? I actually have his name on a document right on my desk, right, when he was still in Jamaica.
Yes.
So
let him pay the bill.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Yes. So Operation Restoration Christian School is a school that's for the most vulnerable children I think we have in our society, and that's teens that struggle with literacy and numeracy. A number of the students, especially in inner city and rural areas, struggle with literacy, as Arlene can even share, I'm sure, and they go through our school system, reached into high school, and they're not reading to the required level. And so we're here for those students. We remediate them, or I like to say we accelerate their learning in both numeracy and literacy. And they do the grade 9 achievement test, which takes them back into the traditional education system. We started back in 1994 when a lady called Lorna Archer Stanley, Odino, she left her job in West Palm Beach. She left her home, West Palm Beach, Florida, came back to Jamaica, moved at one point into Trenchtown. At that time, there was war. How the school started was that Lorna wanted to start a basic school, a school for 2 to 6 year olds, like Arlene is the principal of. And they started in the 12th of September 1994. That was the same day that a war broke out between Tivoli Gardens and what people know as Remo, which is really Wilton Gardens and Federal Gardens. They're called Remo. And that war lasted around 7 years. So on that day, there was a lot of violence in the community. They started the kids, the Joytown community, the Joytown Learning Center, which is also a school that is supported by Integrity Children's Fund. And what happened was, because of where we're situated, right on the borderline between Arnett Gardens and Remo, or people know Jungle and Remo. And if you're around in the 70s, the 80s, Jungle and Remo was always at war with each other because Remo was JLP and Jungle was PNP. That kind of thing was there. And so we were right on the borderline. And so children from the community, teenagers, came to the center that day. And so Lorna said, okay, to the rest of the people who she started the school with, Bobby Wilmot and Jennifer Wilmot, who's the principal of Joytown Learning Center. And the late Bobby Wilmot, Pastor Bobby Wilmot, he passed on earlier this year. So she took students to another side on the same compound and started classes with them. And eventually what she did was start evening classes with teenagers while in the evening after school, right? And she quickly realized that a number of these children, they could not spell their name, they were not reading at the required level. And so that's how we began and evolved into what we are today. In terms of me, I've been married now for 16 years. I have 2 children. So in 1994, I was in high school. But I came to work in Trenchtown. I started working in this community in 2008, having left a job. I used to work at a commercial bank in Kingston, but just had a calling for something else. So I left the job and found myself a year later working in the community of Trenchtown, working among young people and working at this school as a restoration where we were doing the lunchtime program and other activities within the community. And eventually, in 2014, Lorna wanted to retire, and she wanted somebody who knew the community, right? Had the educational background to take the school forward at the same time, in terms of its finances and in terms of its public relations and academics as well, and could maintain the family atmosphere. I knew the community well. I had spent a couple of years working in a bank. My wife was a teacher for, at the time, 12 years, and the school needed. At the time, really what it needed was somebody like myself, who was young enough to really take over from the visionary and the founder, and to make the necessary changes that could really set the school on a good footing for the future. So I've been here now going on 7 years, February, and yes, we have continued to grow from strength to strength. Integrity has been supporting us since 2002, just about.
Yes.
Right? And so it's been a very, very good relationship. We could not exist without them. Well, we would try, but it would definitely be a struggle.
They certainly make the burden easier for you, right? So what kind of support? Tell us about the support you're getting. In fact, that was very beautiful how you gave us the history of the school system. And, I can't imagine, a lot of people watching the show or will see it later on, can't even imagine what it's like, because a lot of us, our kids just go to school, they have access to computers, books, food, everything else. So the significance of what you're doing, and with the support of a wife that's also a teacher, and your own family, is just truly commendable as well, especially in the hard-hit areas of Jamaica. So what kind of help are you getting from Integrity? What are they doing specifically for the school?
Well, I think the most important thing is consistency, right? We can bank on Integrity Children's Fund. We have a number of other supporters, individual and otherwise. None gives consistently as much as Integrity, and that is just vitally important, right, for us to continue to exist. That we have consistent support, and so that's what they've provided for us over these last 18 years. And of course, over time, that support has increased, and as their publicity, as their reach has increased as well. So we're thankful for that. It is what you find as you try to raise money, people don't, organizations, companies, the private sector don't really they like projects, and they don't really like to fund administrative costs. So I've gotten some funding from corporate Jamaica, but it's really for projects that we do from time to time as a part of the school system, as a part of the school. But teacher salary, it's hard to go out there and ask for funding for teacher salary. And how could we exist without our teachers? And so Integrity provides that for us. each month, and it's priceless. And I've been to, as Arlene has said, I've been, Karl and I actually go back way back as well. He knew me well before I was born. And so I've been over there. I've seen how hard they work for these functions, for us, and as I stayed at his house, and just all that they put in, the effort that was put in, and that just inspires you more to work hard and to, make something happen in this community and inspire the next generation of young people.
So Don, if I could just interject here, speaking from Integrity's perspective, yes, we're a fundraising organization, and I like to tell people we do three things. We raise funds, we donate the funds to schools that we support in Jamaica and in Atlanta, and thirdly, we account for the funds. So we don't run the schools, we leave that up to the Roberts and the Arlenes of the world. So we support them financially. And from the onset, we decided that we would pay for teachers' salary, because teachers are the foundation of the school, they're the backbone of the school. And without teachers are keeping and attracting and keeping the right teachers, then the schools will suffer. So when Robert speaks about us funding administration, that's what we do. We pay the teachers' salary, and we have paid over $1 million to date to the various schools that we support, mostly in inner city communities in Jamaica, like the Waterhouse, Trenchtown. And I must say, in the 19 years that we have existed, we have never missed a month. And thanks to our donors for being faithful to us, so that we can in turn be faithful to the schools that we support.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you. I mean, you guys are amazing. Just everyone on the panel for every single thing that you do, because I know you're impacting change around the world. I mean, we have to give our children hope, and what you're doing is a trickle effect. So the kids that you're helping, the teachers you're helping, it's just contagious. People give back because there's such a need for it as well. And I'm glad that you're supporting teachers' salaries as well. We're seeing that with COVID-19, how a lot of careers like our teachers and our nurses, how significant they are to our community, even more, just highlighting it even more. So thank you to, like you said, all the donors, as well as you guys for the hard work that you put into it. And we do have Mr. Travis Stephen, one of our students. I'm so happy you could join us today. I'm a big fan of kids. And to hear from you tonight is such a pleasure. So tell us about yourself. You have to unmute.
My name is Travis Stevens. I am from Kingston, Jamaica. I attend Operation Respiration Christian School. Actually, I start the school at 2017. Start off in a level 1. Level 1 teacher, her name is Miss Deborah Folks. Sorry, when I just attend the school, not that I did dance. Tell them I did dance, so I just attend the school. But Miss Debbie work with me. She take me to a different level, you see me? Because I did well low. I just attend the school. She take me to a different level. Continue till I reach in level 2. No, before the first time in level 1 when I come first in the class, I used to pass all of my tests. I did cry because I say me come first. I never yet come first in primary school in my life. So I did cry. Move on to level 2 now. I'm really happy with myself. Move on to Miss Dixon, my level 2 teacher. Yeah, she work with me. Although sometimes when I get it, sometimes she gives some pinch still. But that alright, she had it for the best way, you know. So she teach me maths. Miss Deborah folks like teach me language arts, and then Miss Dixon mostly teach me maths, how for the maths. I'm proud of her and things. I'm glad she's supposed to proud of me too, because I'm rich right now. So I live, you know. So we'll move from level 2. I come second in a level 2 and move from level 2 to level 3. Actually, Miss Dixon teach me in a level 3 again, because the other teacher was supposed to teach me, she did gone, like she gone overseas. So Miss Dixon teach me in a level 3. I'm gonna come third, so me I drop back. So me in level 4. No, me in level 4 and Miss Dixon teach you again, cause the other teacher, like she gone from the school. Miss Kirkland, she gone from the school, so Miss Dixon teach you again. So Miss Dixon actually she's my second mom. She's my second mother. Cause she take me to a different level, go straight to level 4. Yeah. And I'm just happy for her, cause like she Miss Dixon, Deborah folks, and Sir Dixon, they give me everything more. I not thought like buy things to me, but they give me education. Yeah. I love them and rate them for that.
I can just tell a story about Travis. I don't know if he knows, but after the level 1 year, his mother is visually impaired. She can see, but she really needs help. And she said she came and he mentioned Miss Kirk, Miss Kirk at the time. She came to and she said, what did I do to Travis? I can't believe what you do to Travis, because this was in the summer. And she was saying the whole summer, Travis walking around with me and helping me to read, helping me to ease my eyes. He's reading documents for me. He's going to the bank and he's reading for me. And Travis couldn't read last year. He couldn't read. And, you know, she cried and everything. And Travis has really just continued to grow as a young man who makes us proud, for sure.
I am over here tearing up. Travis, your testimony is absolutely amazing. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. And, you know, one of our viewers, thank you everyone that's tuned in today. But I want to read what someone says. So Tina Dawson says, listening to the students, Travis, it brings tears to my eyes. It's not always where you start, but where you finish. Go, Travis. That is beautiful. And one of the significant things about what you guys do and what we do is just showcase each and every one of you, what you're doing, because we can all inspire each other. And you certainly are inspiring other people tonight. And you have no problem saying you started from the bottom and you just rose and you got the first spot, first place, and then you realize you're dropping backwards. So you can only go up. Keep being hard on yourself, because like you said, education is key, and your testimony is blowing people away. Thank you so much. And keep helping your mom. I'm sure she's super proud of you too. As moms on the show, some of us grandmas, we're super proud of you. Even the men, we're proud of you. Thank you, Travis. So Dr. Chris Parker, tell us about yourself and your role with Integrity Children Fund. I know, but tell the viewers.
Great. Dawn, thank you so much for having me. And just listening to Travis talk a little while ago, like you, I was like, boy, this is serious things, Keep on going, Travis. All of us are behind you. Won't make you fall. So yeah, I, as Robert said, I got involved in the work that at the time I didn't even realize I was going to be here in the US. I started out doing Sunday school in Rima, Trenchtown, as an outreach of a church I was part of. I saw myself as this kind of firebrand preacher. I was going to go down there and win lives. And when I got there, they were asking me to teach some small children in Sunday school. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's exactly what God was calling me to. So I started out, and I recognized very quickly that like my little middle class upbringing couldn't penny what was happening around me. I saw things I had no idea, the way in which people actually live. Kids who had never been outside their communities. You know, we took them to Castleton, and it was like the first time they had seen a river. Driving through Halfway Tree, and they were asking if we weren't foreign because we were driving by the plazas. And it hit me that, you know, I live in a country and in a city that there is such a sharp contrast and divide between the haves and the have-nots. And a lot of it was based on the fact that the opportunities that these kids didn't have, if they couldn't find it, they were going to be always in that place. And it wasn't that they were less smart. In fact, in many ways, a lot of those kids, to me, were actually smarter than other kids of their age. They had to be because of their circumstances. And so after going through that and leaving Jamaica, ended up in the US, I was actually board chair, as Robert pointed out, for a season. I was in my clinical practice downtown, and you know, I remember Lorna used to send messages, you know, on a Friday to say, "Boy, Sarge," which is my alter ego. We may need some help in terms of getting the teachers paid this month, and trying to organize for that. And so when I was leaving, she cried. She cried because it was almost like, well, what are we going to do? So when I got here, unknowns to me, my wife knew Karl very well, and they actually helped with our settling here in Atlanta. And, you know, having these conversations, he had a connection with the church. I was involved in ministry there. I had this connection. And then we said, well, you know, what can we do from here in Atlanta to help? And we just started putting our little money together, throwing what we had in our pockets and then sending it down. And the way it went down sometime was literally with one of us who was traveling. You take a bag of money and take it down. Well, it wasn't a whole bag of money, to be honest. It was probably a check. And then we realized that, boy, we can only do so much with just us. And so we put our heads and our hearts together, formed this organization. I still remember Karl and I spent a lot of time just writing up that application for 501c3 status. And then the rest has just been, I think, God's grace and favor. We've managed to move from supporting just one school to many schools and looking to do even more. And it's just been a blessing to kind of hear the stories like Travis's and others who've gone through Operation Restoration or Joytown Learning Center or Maranatha Basic School, and more recently now the kids here in Atlanta at Donier Elementary. You know, if you can reach one and teach one, you can change the world. And we are not the ones who are inside the classroom, you know, making it happen, but the people who are doing that need our support desperately. And so it is a hard thing. I came on this call late because we were having a little run through for our event on Sunday. And there are nights I go to my bed late and I'm like, can't keep this up. But, you know, I just listened to Travis and it's like I could energize a battery going off inside of me. And I think I can go again for the sake of the children. Yeah, we're going to keep doing this thing.
Thank you. See, Travis, you're impacting us all in more than you even imagined you would tonight, right? And thank you, Dr. Parker, for that, because it's so true. We impact each other and we don't even realize it. So the tireless nights that you have are certainly worth it when you hear from the children and the teachers that are benefiting from it, because you're restoring hope in a lot of kids that would have been forgotten. You know, and it makes their parents proud to see them as well shine. So thank you. So let's talk about your show that's coming up, because I'm a fan of one of the performers. So who's going to tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have a history. Back in the day, I don't know how much people can remember before COVID, when we were actually able to kind of go out and bathe and put on clothes. We had a history of a Christmas fundraising event, which was a concert. The themes of the concert, for the most part, brought people's attention to Christmas and the celebration of Christmas for what it really is, with children and the celebration of children, and to a large extent the culture that is Jamaican. So this year, because of COVID, we've had to do things virtually. So the concert is appropriately entitled this year, Dear Corona, Christmas is Keeping. And for your listeners who are not sure what that really means, when a Jamaican says something is keeping, it means it's actually happening. So, people say to you, school keeping today? That means are we having school? So the concert's premise is, Corona or not, we're going to celebrate Christmas and we're going to raise money for these kids. I'm happy to report that our featured artist will be Melba Moore. For those of you who are old enough, you will remember some of her hits. This Is It, Lena on Me, and she's Tony Award winning, Grammy Award nominated. For those of us who grew up at that time when that kind of music was in, I mean, I'm just looking forward to it like crazy. And then on top of that, we have Dean Fraser, saxophonist extraordinaire. I watched him play recently on video, and I was just like, it's not fair for one person to have so much talent. It's not fair. But he has an amazing talent on that sax, and so he will entertain us. And then we have Jermaine Edwards, major gospel reggae artist locally in Jamaica, and Bria Ane, who is here, amazing talent. She was actually on, can't remember the name of them shows when you go and you sing and then Simon Cowell talk bad about you. But she was actually on that, and a tremendous voice. And then on top of that, we have the Atlanta Jamaica Theatre Group. And it's a group of Jamaicans here. Some of you may know some of these folks like Andrew Lawrence and Will Hart and Chris Livingston, Jennifer Williams, Petrona Levy, Robert Traitor. We do a little bit of drama to kind of give the Christmas vibe and a little bit of music. And then all throughout, we'll be relying on people donating. We're trying to raise 10 grand to be able to provide for the needs of these children, as we said, both in Jamaica and in Atlanta. And so we're really hoping that you and your viewers will come out in your numbers, participate. We have some giveaways. If you know anybody who can sing a cappella, tell them that there's a potential for them to win millions. It won't be on our event, but I suspect at some stage, if they sing well enough, they can make it. But we want to engage people in an experience that they'll enjoy. And so I'm hoping that we have a strong turnout. Starting at 6:30 on Sunday, Zoom link we can provide. I can't remember the numbers on right in my mind just now, but the information's out there, and we're happy to provide that if you can broadcast to your viewers. So
Don, if I could just interject again. So we have a Facebook presence, Integrity Children's Fund, and the Children's has an apostrophe S. And your viewers can go to the Integrity Children's Fund on Facebook, and they can get the link to the concert. They can get information on the concert, and they can also get the link for the Zoom concert on Sunday, which starts at 6:30.
Right.
And also, we're a fundraising organization, so I'm gonna be unashamed and beg. We those who would like to donate to us, who would like to help, the kids that you see here on this program can go to our website, which is integritychildrensfund.net, and there's a little donate button. It's in red. Just click on it, and you're able to donate from anywhere in the world using a card. And it's every dollar that we raise goes a long way. But one of the things that we do as an organization is that we're a completely voluntary organization. No one gets paid. We're all professionals of our own rights. Chris, as you say, is a medical doctor, although I think he has lost his calling. He's actually a comedian. But
two things can exist in the same body, Karl.
I believe you. I believe you. But so we don't consume any of the money. You know, well over 92% of the funds that we raise will go directly to the schools that we support. And the expenses that we have really centers around, believe it or not, a lot of bank charges. It's extremely expensive to move money to Jamaica. So we're being very fiscally prudent in how we spend the money, because it's not ours. You know, we named the organization Integrity for a purpose. And it's our nature and it's our name. You know, and I also just want to add one little bit more of information to encourage those of us in the diaspora. You know, my wife and I are married to a wonderful woman from St. Elizabeth, who went to Hampton with Verna. And when we left Jamaica 22 years ago, I retired from the Jamaica Defense Force. And we felt that we could do more good for Jamaica being outside of Jamaica. Didn't know what it would have been. And so we came here, and then, you know, just to link up with the story that Chris Parker just told, you know, we met with Chris, and then we heard the story about Lorna Stanley and the school in Trenchtown and the fact that they needed help. And so that was our genesis. And so, but that has really been, for us, it's a calling, you know, it's something I believe God has called us to do. It's so, you know, folks who serve in the organization, and we have well over 100 volunteers in different ways, who are fundraisers or who act or who plan events. You know, pre-COVID time, you know, we'd have a huge ball every summer, massive ball, you know, with, you know, 400 or 500 folks turning up. And you know, we have a huge group of folks who plan and execute that, but nobody gets paid, and they all do it out of love. We have a program where our volunteers go to Jamaica and spend time in the schools, go to Trenchtown and see and touch and talk to the students. And I tell you, if you go into Trenchtown and you spend time with the kids, you'll never be the same again. So I'm saying this to inspire those of us who are Jamaicans living overseas. You know, if you want to give back, you can give back through us. Your money is going to be well spent. But if you have your own ideas, go ahead and do it. Do it, because the country needs help. And there are a lot of Robert Dixons, there are a lot of Arlene, and there are a lot of students who need help.
Yeah. Right. And I want to add to that you don't have to be Jamaican to to contribute. So we're reaching the world with this show. So please, please, please understand the significance and importance in finding a charity that you truly believe in and trust. And like you said, Mr. Karl Chambers, very significant that about 92% of what you're collecting is going to the kids, and the others is just the fees involved in banking and getting the funds to Jamaica. That is truly amazing, because I know a lot of charities that take a chunk of the money for salaries for themselves. So I commend you all for volunteering. I do want to take a minute and recognize some of our amazing viewers that are joining. We can't thank you enough for joining this episode, and please remember to share it because it's so significant with this panel. And we want to thank the Consul General, Mr. Oliver Mayer, who is here. We do want to recognize as well Dr. Amina Meeks, our very own, who has joined us on the Caribbean Edge Kids. So she's joining us tonight as well. And I see Sophia has also shared the link for the Integrity event, I believe is what she shared in here. And certainly the Caribbean Edge will share everything that you send to us to support it as well. And I wish I lived in Atlanta, because I'd certainly be there volunteering myself as well. But I'll volunteer from afar if I can. So if you need me, we're here. And I know I've seen the pictures for your balls before, all the women so elegantly dressed and the men in their suits, and DJ Migraine playing the music and just having a blast. So we know Jamaican people love to party, Caribbean people love to party. personality, period. So we're glad you're having fun while also giving back, and your hard work truly is commendable as well. I do have another young man, Mr. Linton Brown, that's joined us. Thank you for joining us this evening, Linton. Okay, so we're going to ask you to unmute yourself and tell us about yourself and what you want to share with us tonight.
Good night. My name is Linton Brown. I'm 14 years of age, and I'm just glad to represent my school.
Nice.
So tell us what is about your school that's special. Tell us about what going to school is like, your teachers and support systems that you have.
The teachers, unlike most high school and junior high, the teacher will push you so you can get the work, you can understand it. And the supportive system is very good, miss.
And what do you want to be? What's your profession? What's your goal?
Either animator or architect.
Beautiful. So do you plan to inspire other kids as well?
Yes, miss.
Good. So we'll come back to you. Think of anything that you want to say, because I'm truly coming back to you. I want to hear more from you tonight, okay? I want to hear what inspires you, what your teachers are doing to impact you, and the significance of having support system, because we all need that, even as adults. But for adults giving back to you, we want to know what you need from us to support you. So don't be shy tonight. Tonight is your night. Live. So tell me from the panel, anything you want to about Integrity for Fun. What should we know about you?
Well, if I can add to what Karl was saying, right? Not only do they, you know, obviously they're open with how they spend their money. You know, I believe that you can see their bank statement, their bank book, financials online. But also they do auditors. They do some audit of the schools every year. But also they have helped. They have assisted in terms of advice. Assisted our school in getting financially stable, in making sound decisions when it comes to, you know, we had some liabilities that we had to deal with. We had some structures in terms of how we are organized financially that we had to get right. And they played a role in getting that done by either getting donors to help us, assist us, or just being there for advice, right? They have a CPA on staff, on Integrity Children Funds, and we communicate regularly. So I can say that we are not just financially stable, but that we have our structures in place, right? And we produce our financial statements. Well, we're up to date until September. So, you know, we want to be open as well with transparent with how we spend money, and they have assisted us in that. And I can say also, I know Karl has a vision of literacy, of having a literate Jamaica, and they fight, you know, with us and with the basic schools that they support on two levels. You know, our aim, and as I work, you know, I as I said, the Joytown Learning Center is another school that they donate to. So we are on the same compound in Trenchtown, and we do work together. And it's our aim. There's no child that attends the Joytown Basic School from 2 years of age to 6 that should come to our school. And if you don't get to go to the Joytown Basic School, and you live in Trenchtown, and you fall through the cracks of the education system, and you consider living in Trenchtown, there's the gunshots a lot, there's a lot of poverty, there's as if there's music playing right now and it's exam time for children, And that's what the children live in. They live in constant stress, chronic stress, an environment of chronic stress all the time. And so it's difficult for them to maintain a standard of education, of performance. So if you fall through the cracks, then Integrity also supports Operation Restoration Christian School for children like Travis, like Linton, who didn't go to the high school that they wanted to go, or who couldn't go on to high school, but they have a second chance at this school as well to get themselves back. So both this time next year, Linton and Travis will be in a high school in Jamaica and will have their education back on track, their lives back on track. They will have their goals back on track because of the support of Integrity Children's Fund. Just imagine what would Travis do in high school with 40 children in the class, in an environment. There's not a lot of scaffolding. Here you're really at this school, we're a small school, you're really scaffolded. There's a lot of support there for you, and the environment is set up so that you can learn and you can have the chance to get yourself on track. Not every student takes that opportunity, but these two young men with us, I can say definitely has risen to the occasion and taken that opportunity. So we expect great things of them.
So Dawn, if I could interject again, I think there are a couple of stories that I'd love for Verna Ramdeen, Dr. Brown to talk about. There's a school that we know support in Atlanta. And once again, we support schools with students, what I call the forgotten children, kids who really need help. And I'll let Verna speak to the school that we support in Atlanta. But before she does that, I'm going to ask Arlene if she could talk about the recent gift that we gave her school, because they had a big need. I think you
have to unmute.
Yes.
Yeah, while Arlene is unmuting, I just wanted to say, because you asked, the panel if there is anything else. I think the acronym ICF and what those words, what those letters mean, are really the character of the organization. We're about integrity, and Karl spoke to that in terms of recognizing that people give us money to make the cause happen. And so we're very careful to try and account for people's money. We're about children, unapologetically trying to ensure that, as we've said before, particularly the forgotten ones or the ones who live in low resource communities, have opportunity. And then we're really about funds. I mean, this is about the money. It is about raising money to ensure that these kids have what they need. And the last thing I'll say before asking Arlene to answer the question that Karl posed was that Robert mentioned these kids growing up in an environment that's not always conducive to their success. And it is my hope, prayer, and vision that, in the destiny of this organization over time, we'll be able to support the construction of schools in villages almost. Oprah did it in some parts of Africa, where she allowed girls the opportunity to kind of go away from their families for a minute to be able to find the education that they need. And I sometimes feel that for the kids in these situations, being able to learn in an environment that there is less violence, and they're not maimed, and they're not spoken down, and not discouraged, that we'd probably end up with a completely different country if we were able to do that. So that is my hope, that we'll get to that place as an organization where the numbers allow us to start having an even greater impact. So over to you, Arlene, to tell us a little bit about the specific project that we sponsored last.
Okay, and we talked. In September we had a numerous amounts of rainfall, and we had lightnings, a lot of lightnings with that rainfall. So in about mid-September, the rain was falling, and accidentally the lightning struck the pole where we had our meter that provide us with the lights, the electricity in the school. All of that cord that run from the meter, everything was burnt by the lightning. Everything was burnt out. So when we resumed school in October 5th, and we went back to school, we had no lighting at all. So our online class that we are supposed to be doing for the children, we have to be going out into the schoolyard to get connected to the internet from the church. So my staff and I, we have to be running all over the place to get on to start our classes in the morning, and it was very challenging. I spoke with Sandy Curlew, and then she said, why you don't call Chris? And so I sent him a message, and he called me back. When he called me back, he said to me, Arlene, don't be afraid to ask the Integrity Children's Fund for anything. It's just a yes or a no, even though I know that there is no coming from the Integrity Children's Fund. There is no. There are a God-sent group of people that put it out there, right? They work together, they communicate. So we spoke, and he said to me, how much is it for the light? I went and I got an estimate, and it was $123,000 for the wires, and the workman cost was $50,000. He said, okay, we are going into a meeting, a board meeting, and we are going to discuss, and I will give you a call back. When he called me back, he said that, Harley, do you remember something? And I said, no. He said, when you came up for the event, and we did that event, it was to sponsor your school that night, what we made. And you asked for a bus for your school, and the fund was not enough for the bus. So we said that whenever you're going to take the children out, we will sponsor the bus fare. So I said, yes, I remember that. So he said to me, we still have that money for you, we have over $1,300 for you sitting and waiting. So he said to me, would you like us to use that money to help you to do the light? And I said, yes. So he went back to his board, and they discussed. And today I can say the light is completed. Today they finished working on the light. So the school is up and running back with light. And I am saying, thank you, Integrity. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for the persons who have sponsored you so that you can sponsor our school in Jamaica and the Trenchtown School. They are doing a good job. And being a Jamaican, and you know that most time people leave their country and they don't turn back an eye. And for you all to join together, coming together to make this possible for these children. And as Mr. Dixon said, in the community where it's very vulnerable for children, where gunshot is being fired, some children are living on the gully side in Waterhouse, and it is very hard for them and hard for their parents. And to see that persons who are far away still see through those eyes and is willing to help. And through you, we are willing to help a lot of children in our community, because my staff, they are very dedicated. If something is bothering a child, they get down to it, and we all work together. And because of you, you're making it possible for myself and my staff at our school. So today our light is fixed, and we are ready for January to start out in school. School close off on the 18th for the Christmas holidays. And we know that we don't have to be scattered all over the place, because the Integrity Children's Fund has come through for us tremendously where our light is concerned. And they always come through for us. They have been our very good support to us since 2019.
Wow. The things we don't think about on a day-to-day or in the US as we go through our daily lives, to think that kids don't have lights at the school for you to be able to see and function, just the basic needs, and for Integrity Children Fund to be there to support, and for everyone that contributes to the fund, and seeing that it goes to people that really, really need it. I mean, tonight's testimony is beyond measure what you guys are doing. So thank you for that. And Arlene, you mentioned your staff and how supportive they are and getting stuff done. That takes real people with real heart and real support and real love for children. So we can't thank you enough as Jamaicans, as humans, as people, for the work and dedication you all are doing as teachers. I mean, I commend you and all the teachers in both your school, you as well, Mr. Robert Dixon, thank you. I do want to ask Travis a question that I forgot to ask you, which is, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you aspire to be?
Okay, I'll be like, I want to be a soldier. Sometimes I say no, I want to be a singer. Then I say no, I want to be an actor. It's like kind of confusing.
So are you a good singer?
Not really, still a practice.
So you're gonna have to pick one. So keep practicing. I know you're good at practicing. And if you become a soldier, I know you'll also be an amazing soldier, especially with the heart and soul that you're displaying with us today. So thank you. Mr. Linton Brown, are you ready to talk to us and tell us what's inspiring you or what you want to do? You're still being shy?
Come on, Linton.
Anyone in particular inspires you that you want to share with us?
I can tell you, Linton, as he thinks, he's an artist. He always has a pencil and paper in his hands drawing, and he loves it. He loves drawing, and responsible young man. He's obviously growing up as he has an autistic brother who he takes care of, and sometimes he misses school because of that. But loving boy, and he has a great future ahead of him. So Linton, you can speak up for yourself, man. That's why you're here. So yeah,
Tell us about your brother.
He needs to unmute.
Miss, my brother. He's a fun little boy, miss. He's 10 years old. His name is Aji Brown. I sometimes think he's my own child, miss. We are loving, miss. I think if any of my siblings have him grow up, miss, it should be me. I'm always there for you, miss. Although sometimes I'm kind of be like a stubborn, miss. Don't want to hear anything I say. So I have to deal with him kind of rough, but not in every physical way.
Yeah. Good job. Well done.
I'm sure he looks up to you, and you're making me cry and laugh all at the same time. So thank you. I'm sure that you will continue to be successful, keep learning, and keep taking care of that little stubborn brother. We all get stubborn at a time. I'm sure you're a little stubborn too. So you're welcome back to come chat with us anytime. We appreciate you. So keep doing well in school and keep inspiring others, okay? And you can also send us some of your artwork so we can take a look at it as well and share it. Because we do have the Caribbean Edge Kids show where you can come on and read and talk to other kids and inspire them too. So we appreciate that.
Yes, yes.
So
we have to leave now. I have a
Go ahead.
meeting going on. So Linton, Travis, and I will exit. Thank you so much.
Joining
Thank you,
us.
Travis.
Verna,
Clinton.
Arlene,
Thank you.
for
Bye,
sharing.
Robert.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Take care, Travis.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas. So, Mr. Chambers, tell us about the long-term goals that you have for Integrity Children Fund. Where do you see it going?
So let's talk about, first of all, what our vision is. So our vision is inspired, smart, hopeful youth, regardless of their socio-economic circumstances. And when we started out, we focused on our mission of to fight teenage illiteracy in Jamaica. And so, you know, you saw two examples just now of two young men who are preteens who are functionally illiterate. And so those two young men represents our mission and the success of our mission. And I call those young men the forgotten children. You know, these are kids who will get through high school, get through primary school, and for various reasons are functionally illiterate. One reason is poverty. The other reason is the fact that most of these youngsters don't have a family unit with especially a father in their lives to set the example and to inspire them. And so we in terms of the future, we're expanding across Jamaica. We want to find all the Jeremys across Jamaica and help them to become literate so that they can become very productive citizens of Jamaica. Because if we don't, they're going to follow a well-known path of destruction. You know, there's a young man who I met probably about maybe 12, 13 years ago at the same school in Trenchtown. I met him when he was 16, and at age 13, he was a gunman. He was a member of a gang. He was illiterate, but someone encouraged him to go to the school, and he gave up gun for books. He changed his life because the school not only helped him to become literate, but they helped him spiritually to change his life. And I met him when he was a changed young man, and he graduated from the school and went on to become an evangelist. So that's a gunman to an evangelist. So, you know, we're changing lives, but we're trying to change the known and regular path of destruction for some of these youngsters. Interestingly, most of the kids in the school, Robert is the principal of, are boys. You know, boys are the ones who seem to fall by the wayside and end up being illiterate teenagers. So in terms of our growth, we're going across Jamaica, finding all the Jeremys to help them. And we're also going in the United States as well. And so we started here in Atlanta with one school. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Verna to speak about that school. And then from what Verna will share, you'll see where we're going in the United States. Because believe it or not, even within the United States, we have found that there are communities of children who are disadvantaged. And it's amazing how that should happen. But I'm going to ask Verna to just speak about the school that we support here in Atlanta and why we support it.
Sure. So Dawn, you heard from Robert, you heard from Arlene, you heard from Travis, you heard from Linton. So now what I said earlier makes sense, right? Right?
Absolutely.
I can, yeah, right. Why I said I'm so proud to be part of this organization, an organization that is constantly reaching out to improve the lives of children, right? Children who live in vulnerable situations, children who live in poor communities. And we're glad to know that we have 4 schools in Jamaica, and then our newest addition is Donaire Elementary in DeKalb County in Metro Atlanta. And it came about because for the past few years, you know, we're always acknowledging and counting and thanking the Almighty for all the blessings. Karl said how much money, you know, we have already donated to the schools. How much money we have given to the schools that we support. So we have been giving thanks and decided, okay, we need to look for, we've been like unwavering, you know, and in our desire to find another set of children that we could support in this, our adopted country, right? We live here. So that was, you know, our thinking going into this. And then Danier Elementary School in DeKalb County was recommended to us by one of our volunteers. And when we looked at the demographics of that school, we realized that they were a perfect match for the vision of integrity, right? They match the needs of the kids that we serve in Jamaica, right? Part of our mission is to inspire hope, right? Karl mentioned it a while ago, to inspire hope in the lives of disenfranchised children and to support them in whatever way we can. So we saw that their demographics and also their mission where they're trying to reach every student. So it was not a difficult decision to decide on Danier Elementary. A little bit more on their demographics. There are 26 languages, 26 different languages spoken in the school, right? Or represented in the school. A lot of them are from, you know, Ethiopia, Eritrea, that part of the world. So 26% of the student population are speakers of other language. So they're just learning English, which puts them at a disadvantage from the get-go, right? The percentage of low-income families in the school is almost over 80%, right? And I got that, I was reminded of that today, right? There were like 87% low-income families represented at the school. And they've been working hard. The school has been working hard. The teachers have been working hard to increase student achievement. Right. So they have made some gains. They have been closing some of the gaps. And so on knowing all of that about the school, the ICF board went into action, and we went to work to see how we could help this school community, right? And so we started kind of, you know, ascertaining and getting understanding of what their needs, the greatest needs were. I consulted the teachers and the administrators, and trying to see where we could best support them. And so they suggested that one of their greatest needs was to have more supplemental resources in terms of digital software. And so we raised enough funds to do that. And so to get our partnership off the ground, which just started this semester, right? We have already donated $5,000 to the school to buy the software that will help these children that are learning English, and also to help them with their math learning as well, right? We have other programs that are, you know, that are also in the planning phases that we have for Danier as well. So we're off to a good start, and so we hope to keep that partnership going and growing with the continued and generous support of the donors, right? Because so we have our integrative family has expanded, right? So not just in Jamaica, but here in our right in our backyards as well.
Yes, thank you. And I'm glad that you are doing that, because it just highlights the need for it, even in the greatest country of the world, the United States of America, that there are still the forgotten children, as you've mentioned, that need our help and support. So that $5,000 that was donated is being used very, very well to support kids here as well. So thank you for all you're doing as well. This is certainly a great cause to get involved with. We've discussed the fact that 92% of everything collected goes towards the children. That is absolutely amazing. It's unheard of. So the Caribbean Edge is certainly thankful that you are the charity that we chose to showcase to support, and we will certainly continue to support you. Dr. Chris Parker, any closing words, anything you want to add to the conversation?
Well, for people to come out on Sunday and don't wait until Sunday to give. In fact, the way in which I figure it is that if we can have the $10,000 donated before Sunday, then we don't have to do all the appeal. We can just have a grand time all together on Sunday, because we've already hit our target. So I implore folks to open up their hearts, because it's a hard thing. It's not a pocket thing, it's a hard thing. A lot of the volunteers who have come on board, came to one event, and they have been on board since. You heard mention of a few folks in terms of the people who have been having communication. Sandy, God bless Sandy as a volunteer. People come out and give because of the heart connection to these kids and to the cause. So I implore, beg, beseech folks to give to this cause. It's a really worthy cause. And thank you, Dawn, for showcasing our efforts. I'm sure you had choice and you picked us. I think you picked well.
You're the only choice.
Yeah, but God bless you. May your cupboards never be empty as a consequence.
Man.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we want to thank Michelle Hussein, is the person that actually connected us all. And she's been singing your praises forever and working hard behind the scenes to make this show happen. Huge supporter.
Yes.
Huge supporter of what you do. So we want to thank the viewers who have tuned in tonight. And it's so important that you share this episode, because even though Integrity Children's Fund has a $10,000 goal, I want us to so far surpass that goal and just keep impacting and changing lives. And I will be there for the event. I can't wait to see Miss Melba Moore again. We saw her here in South Florida last year, and she was a ball of fire. Like, she hasn't aged. She entered.
It's amazing.
We had her come back on stage. If we could have had her perform all night, we would have had her singing all night. She's quite the performer. So don't miss it. And thank you all for everything you're doing from the bottom of our hearts. I've seen people in the chat, they've been crying, they've been touched by what you're doing. So thank you so much. You are all amazing human beings, and you're impacting the lives of our future generations. So thank you for joining me tonight on the Caribbean Edge, kids.
Thank you, Dawn. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday.